Hello and welcome to my next video for Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia. So we're going to be doing a little bit of a sequence break with this one. I'm going to be tackling the Agrias EX quest, Knights on the EX. Now, the reason I didn't have a video up for this before was because I was finding it unreasonably difficult to do a full complete, including the score of the stage, without Agrias. And I tried to record it multiple times, and to be quite honest, I was actually getting sick of repeating myself and trying the stage only to be dropped by some sort of horrible bullshit at the last moment. And I was like, you know what, forget it. I mean, I could just have used Agrias because I did get lucky pulling for her stuff, but I thought that would have defeated the object, especially when not everyone is going to have her fully kitted out, because she is quite strong, but we've got quite a lot of amazing strong characters coming up anyway, so I can understand if she's not waifu, or you didn't want to pull her, then you know, you can kind of get that not everyone is probably going to have her. But the Last Awakening batch released yesterday, along with one banner that had Lightning's EX in it, which we all expected, and the Knight of Etro costume, which I'm sure a lot of people have been looking forward to. But there was also a banner with a Mystery EX, and that's now confirmed to have been Bartz's EX, which actually returned. But it wasn't just that his EX returned, he's actually gotten his rework ahead of time. And I have to say that after having played with it for a while, it makes such a huge difference in terms of not only his performance, but he's just so much more fun to play now as well. He's really versatile. He fits in just about any kind of team, and he just makes it better just by being there. You know, he's really strong at the moment. I've brought Lilisette along as well, who's awakened to level 60, and between these two I can quite honestly see them being used quite a lot in the coming weeks, possibly even like a month or two. Like, they'll fall off when Rinoa gets here, but to be honest, that's not really a fair benchmark because so does everyone else. Let's get into this. I do actually have full artifacts on Bartz. I did actually pull all of Bartz's stuff previously on the Gilgamesh banner, because I knew that Gilgamesh wasn't very meta, but I was nearly capping on green high shards and I had to spend them on something. And I was kind of like, well, Gilgamesh is a fun character, you know, he's not terrible, he's not the best, but I can at least get some sort of enjoyment out of him. So I was just pulling away, you know, a few tickets and a couple of multis, and bam, out popped a Bartz EX out of nowhere. So I was like, right, well, okay, I'll take it, and I'll squirrel it away for a rainy day. And it looks like his time to take the spotlight has finally arrived. It's very much a case of long have we waited, Bartz activated at the moment. Sorry, that was terrible. Anyway, so his simple mastery boost artifacts are by far his most important ones, because he has a crystal level 50 passive called Simple Mastery. Now the mastery is actually it's all Final Fantasy V characters in the game have the Mastery mechanic, which is a reference to the job system in the original FF5. And I just have to say, I do love Final Fantasy games with a job system, including tactics, funnily enough. And so I find that quite a neat little reference. Basically, the way it works is they have to use their skills at least once. In fact, I think it is literally just once now that everyone's been fully awoken and reworked, and then for the remainder of the stage, their skills become a more powerful version of what they were before. And Bartz has this, and yeah, they get the little 3 stars that appears above their head, which is also a reference to what a job class looks like in the menu when it's been mastered in FF5, which I find a really neat little touch. I love this game's like attention to detail. It's got lots of cool references in there, I think. So yeah, when Bartz gets both abilities mastered, so he uses both abilities like once each, and he gives an aura, like a passive boost, to the party's initial and max brave attack and defense. It's 10% for each. Now with CS50 passives, when they have an artifact, of course the 2-star boost is an extra 5% on top of that. So after Bartz masters both of his abilities, he'll be giving a 25% boost to basically everything except speed, just by existing, which I find quite phenomenal, to be honest. And he also got his other Awakening passives reworked. So this one, I don't know what it was before, but it became all buffed attack boost. So that again is another 20% attack and max brave, while he's buffed, which he's always going to be buffed in the current meta. In fact, he applies his own Max Brave buff from double hand. So again, he's giving like a 45% attack and Max Brave that's fully stackable with everything else because it's invisible, just basically by being there, which is amazing. And that's just his passives. That's without going into what his skills do. In fact, his missile skill is the main reason that that he's so good for bringing along to this fight, because it's a gravity attack. So he just laughs in the face of the ridiculous amounts of brave that the bosses gain, and we now have a tool that doesn't rely on RNG and doesn't rely on bullshit, or rather it's equally bullshit. You just throw it back at the bosses. So Lilisette's awakened as well. Yeah, I do I do have agrias and stuff. So Lilisette's awakened as well. She is kind of similar to Layle in that her awakening didn't really give her that much in terms of new mechanics. It just basically buffed up her numbers. But because she was so amazingly good before, that's all she needed to be amazing again. Of course, nobody used Layle really in the level 50 era, because not too long after that you had Sephiroth and Zack that were out at the same time, and King, and then not too long after the Zack banner dropped, the first level batch of Awakenings dropped, and then Cloud and Terra just stomped everything. Especially Terra, man, she was a force to behold back when Awakenings first dropped. Sad how times have changed. But anyway, Lilisette also has a passive called Moonshade Butterfly, which will activate as long as she's over 50% health, and it's the same thing as Bartz, basically, just a buff to everything. And she also buffs the party's attack and speed by 20%, and well, we don't know the speed percentage, but yeah, basically between them they give a passive aura buff of, I think, 90% attack and what is it going to be, like 90% attack, yeah, and 70% max brave to the party just by being there. So that's one of the reasons that I can see these two being used alongside like a hyper carry, to borrow a term, like Lightning EX, or like Beatrix, or like Van, or Layle even, you know, some big offensive presence, or Thancred, and whether they apply their own visible buffs or not, like Lightning and Thancred like to apply their own visible buffs, they'll get the full benefits from the auras from Bartz and Lilisette. And Bartz and Lilisette also like have batteries tied onto basically everything that they do as well. And Bartz with his EX has insane longevity, so it's just a really good team all around. I'm bringing the Layle friend for launch meta shenanigans. We don't have any healing in this lineup, so we just have to blitz the bosses down as fast as we can. But now that we've got all the reworked stuff, it's actually possible and practical to do that. We have enough tools at our disposal to do that, so that's good. So I'm just using one each of Bartz's abilities just to get the mastery boost going. He does have a HP attack now on both attacks, which is amazing. He really needed that, because before his only HP attack was his EX, which I thought was pretty piss poor, to be honest. So yeah, I'm just going to break C. I'm going to not quite break C. Yeah, his EX is already charged. It's not that strong individually, but the recharge rate is incredible. Like, you can use it after every other skill. That's why I say it gives him really good longevity, because it just, you know, it's just really fast to recharge. So it actually also gives him some extra attack and max brave invisibly as well, and it batteries the party. So it's not a bad thing. It's kind of like a souped up version of a HP plus, I think. That's kind of how I treat it anyway. So I'm going to use double hand here because I'm actually able to get the HP attack off. The one thing I have found with Bartz is that he needs a bit of outside help to reach the HP threshold on his double hand, because he needs to be at 80% or higher of his max brave to get the HP attack on double hand. So that's one downside. Although, I mean, you know, I call it a downside. It's so spammable. Here we go, like again. It really helps him. It really helps him last. in these fights. So these trash mobs have low defense, so he only needs like a little bit of help. There we go. So the buffs are starting to run off, so I'll Sensual Dance on the start of the boss wave, I think. To double hand or not to double hand? You know what, I'll do it. I've got to keep the momentum going. But I should have done it on that thing. Never mind. It's all good. It's all good. Bartz's EX Plus is supposed to be dropping in JP fairly soon, actually. I want to know what that is. For sure. Now, I'm going to use Missile here because he's not going to reach the threshold against these guys. Their defense is a lot higher. So as you see, Missile has a gravity hit, then does extra hits, then HP attacks, and also batteries the party. It's a super loaded skill. It's really good. Does Welling Edge have Welling Edge does not have turn rate. Which is unfortunate. What can you do there? So Whirling Edge actually batteries for 50% of the damage that you deal against an enemy, which I also find really good, to be honest. Okay, so here we are with B that has a ridiculous amount of Brave. So I mean, I could just use my EX here, but I'm actually going to go ahead and use Missile. So you see, because of the gravity hit, it's so huge. There, it just breaks, like, you know, no problem. And A is going to attack Lilisette. But I'll use a Whirling Edge. Because we can launch again. We really need to get as much damage off as we can because we don't have any healing. So what we really want is for them to start floating. So I think here what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Yainiki on B to set it up for the launch. It does still have the Force debuff, right? No, it doesn't. Alright. Of course it doesn't because it's floating. That was my bad. That was my mistake. Spray attack here. Okay, so not super optimal. Which kind of sucks. We'll have to push that thing back for sure. Okay, now good. They've started to float. This is what we wanted to happen. I'm not going to use a missile here because I need to save them for when we really need them. So I can basically, yeah, I'm going to attack, and then Layle is going to Field Burst, which will push off their death debuff, and we get some free brave attacks off here, so that's fine. That's Brave Plus. So I'll actually Brave Plus again just to keep it set up for the launch. And I'm gonna summon my friends, and we're just gonna go into summon here. Try and burst them down as fast as we can. I'm going to use Missile on B just to get rid of that ridiculous amount of max brave it has. That's good launch afterwards. Now we really need Essential Dance for everyone. Use the Ainiki to save our skills, and then we launch A. I really want to get A out of the picture. Because we've got 2 Layles, we can really just burst one down at a time, because you can just launch the one that remains, and it's awesome. So yeah, we need Welling Edge because we need to actually hit them. This is so satisfying. Use double hand here to get his max range back up. Okay, so if I take this one out, then B should go into Assault Lance. Yeah, there we go. But because we debuffed its attack and its magic attack, that normally hits like a truck, but there it basically can't do anything again. So we'll Sensual Dance, we'll Yainiki, we'll launch it again. We'll just keep up the pressure on this one now. And to be honest, we should be able to turn Delay into Oblivion and just launch it to death. It's so much easier now that Bartz is awakened. Like, things that man can do. It's just, it's beautiful to behold. So, okay. So I'm actually not going to Welling Edge here. I will Sensual Dance. And the next hit won't launch. But that's actually okay. Because... oh, whatever. I'll missile it just to battery everyone. And here it's just a case of whittling down its health as much as we can. Oh, so close. But sorry, we can't afford to HP attack there because we need to shave it because Layle's going to get hit with a HP attack. But he can survive that, no problem. And there we go, finished. Hopefully with the score requirements too. Yeah, double Layle just kind of delays them into oblivion. It does so much damage. I had to bring Bahamut because they resist Brothers and they resist Pandemonium. Alright, so 217k. There we go, that clears the score. That'll do it for this video. I mean, by the time it's uploaded, the quest will probably have disappeared anyway, but I just kind of wanted to record it just so that I don't have a gap in terms of the events that I've covered. And to be honest, it's really satisfying to go back to this thing with Bartz and just explode their bullshit bravery out of nowhere. He's going to be really good for events that need you to shave large amounts of brave. Like, I think the Barrett event that comes up after locks, it has a pair of turtles and they kind of get 30k max brave out of nowhere. I think they're weak to physical attacks in the initial release of the event, not in the Chaos one, but he should be able to laugh at that as well. I fully intend on bringing him along there. anyway, that'll do it for now, and I'll catch you all in the next one, which is probably going to be the Caius event. I've forgotten the name of it again. But anyway, take care, and till the next time.